Here's a story I found really interesting. In 1985, Disney released the movie 101 Dalmatians. Now, Dalmatians weren't a super popular breed at the time, but in the years after the movie, Dalmatian ownership skyrocketed over fivefold. It begs the question, have you ever wondered when and how people decide on getting a new dog? I was shocked to learn one study found that 40% of dog owners spent less than 1 week doing research prior to getting a new dog, and 20% of owners did no research at all. Welcome to Pet Spotlight, where today we'll be exploring some fascinating research behind how people make decisions about pet ownership. Research into when, why, and how people decide to get dogs has a lot to teach us. It turns out a lot of things play into deciding whether to get a dog in the first place. Studies have shown that larger homes with children are more likely to own dogs. In one UK survey of over 2,000 households, those with 5 or more people were the most likely to have a dog. Another study found that households with children under 5 years old were less likely to own dogs. It makes sense, right? Parents may have concerns about safety or their ability to keep an eye on both the child and the pet. Your own childhood experiences with pets also matter. Multiple studies have found that people who grew up with dogs as kids are much more likely to own dogs as adults. In one survey, a whopping 43% of current dog owners said their decision to acquire a dog was mostly influenced by positive experience growing up with dogs. Saying yes to a dog is one thing, but the timing is another question altogether. An important factor for many people is choosing the right time to take on the responsibility and commitment of dog ownership. Some of the key considerations for people include life stage, like people may look to acquire a dog when they're settling down or after getting married or when kids grow up. In fact, over 35% of married couples get a dog within their first year of marriage. What about housing situation? Yard space is a huge issue for people when they're buying homes. Interestingly, 73% of homeowners say that owning a house with a yard is a top priority. Work and lifestyle, like the amount of time at home and flexibility to care for a dog's needs. Retirees, for example, are a group who often consider dog ownership, and according to AARP, about 60% of retirees have a dog. Life changes, the loss of a previous pet, or even an empty nest syndrome after kids move out, these are common trigger points for people. 56% of empty nesters are actually believed to own a dog. Finances. It's no secret dogs involve a lot of ongoing costs like food, medical care, and training, and on average dog owners will spend almost $1,500 annually on their pets. And then travel plans. Some people may wait until after a major trip or a honeymoon, for example, to ensure that they have the proper time to take care of a new dog. Okay, so you've decided to get a new dog. Next comes the fun but tough decision of picking the right breed. What are some of the things that drive people's choices in this department? You might have guessed that physical appearance is very influential and sometimes even more than health considerations. In one study, 75% of people adopting dogs from shelters said the dog's appearance was an important factor, but only 49% said that health was important. This attraction to cuteness helps explain the rising popularity of breeds like the French Bulldog, despite their breathing difficulties and other health issues. Their small, cute features seem to override rational thought for a lot of people. In another study focused specifically on owners of dogs with breathing problems like French Bulldogs or Pugs, appearance was the top stated reason for choosing that breed, while health was a lot less important. Unsurprisingly, people are also drawn to puppies. In surveys of preferred dog attributes, a puppy less than 1 year old is usually the most desirable age. Adoption records from shelters confirm it too. Older dogs tend to wait longer for a new home. Another key influence is fashion and popular culture. Breed popularities tend to rise and fall as dogs gain media exposure and celebrity status. Remember, after the movie 101 Dalmatians was released in 1985, new Dalmatian registrations jumped fivefold over the next 8 years. And more recently, the Labradoodle saw a very dramatic rise after being publicized as a great hypoallergenic dog. We're going to dive more specifically into how people choose not just a breed, but an individual dog. But first, just a quick pause to say thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe to Pet Spotlight if you enjoy this kind of video. So once you've settled on a breed, it's time to choose the individual dog. And believe it or not, science indicates that people often pick a dog that resembles themselves in some way. It's almost like choosing a canine lookalike. This tends to be more true for purebreds than mixed breeds, though. In one study, people were asked to look at photos of dogs and owners and try to match them up. And people were better at matching owners with their purebred dogs compared to mixed breeds. This suggests that people acquire purebreds that resemble themselves either in facial features or other physical traits like size, hair type, or attractiveness. A dog's behavior and personality also matter, of course. In shelters, dogs perceived as more sociable and friendly tend to get adopted faster. One study found that dogs who approach or greet and lick potential adopters during meetings get adopted sooner. And laying close to the potential adopters also made it more likely that dogs would get a new home, while hiding or leaning on the kennel walls increased the length of the stay. So I'm curious, if you've owned a dog, did you choose to get it from a shelter or a breeder or somewhere else? In the US and the UK, the most popular sources for getting a dog are breeders, shelters, and friends or relatives. And the numbers are pretty surprising. On average, about 25 to 30% of people get their dog from a breeder. About 22% come from shelters. And this is what surprised me the most, about 25% actually come from friends or family members who are rehoming a dog. Many people have ethical beliefs about adoption, but there are definitely some things to consider when you're adopting or rescuing a dog whose past experiences could influence their behavior or trainability. Desire for specific breeds and perceived barriers to shelter adoption like home checks or application paperwork can also factor into people's decisions. Studies have found that women and younger adults are more likely to adopt from shelters rather than buy from breeders or pet stores. And it's true that adopting a dog can quickly become expensive, especially with purebred puppies who can cost up to thousands of dollars. So it's not surprising that income plays a role here. One study found income to be directly related to whether people were more likely to get their dog from a friend or a family member. And now for the most important decision you have to make, picking the perfect name. After all, you'll be saying it a lot. Let us know down in the comments, how did you pick a name for your dog? The name might reflect your personality or your interests, or even the dog's appearance. And it's a great activity for the whole family when you get a new dog. Scientific research gives us some fascinating insights into trends, patterns, and psychology around dog naming. For example, about 35% of male dogs have what we'd call people names, like Charlie or Max or Jack. But only about 10% of female dogs have people names, like Sophie or Emma. Kids have a big influence. About 45% of parents say kids picked the name or influenced the dog's name and opted for things like movie characters or athletes or friends. Some names are associated with specific breeds due to distinctive features, like Shadow for black labs or Coco for chocolate labs. About 50% of dog names end in a long E vowel sound, which is instinctively associated with cuteness. Think Lucy or Teddy or Wally. And names can convey personality too. Energetic or playful dogs often get names like Buddy or Lucky, while more serious ones might get names like Chief. Tell us about your experiences finding and choosing a new friend. Share your stories down in the comments, and don't forget to like and subscribe to Pet Spotlight. Until next time.